Very good morning, everybody. One of the significant factors on the contribution of security in terms of civilian effort that is called as a mob violence. You know what? The interesting topic is General Studies 3. At least a question is definite enough to deal the things with respect to mob violence. It's not only the topic of interest, it is also a topic of interest to a civil society. How we have to be in such a monarchy of the democracy. We know that we have a socialistic sense, we have a religious sense, and we have a brotherhood nation, and we know our constitution mechanized principle with respect to the preamble emphasized we the people of India having solemn need to regard to constitute secular democratic republic to secure all the citizens of India. See, this is not one topic of addressing what is mob violence, how it is going on, what preposition, what opposition, what replication happening for this only one concern. This is all the scenario which segmentoriously behavior in terms of ethical manner. So, what is mob? Mob is the community. It may be a negative standard, it may be a positive standard. You know, we are already emphasized the collective responsibility. What do you mean by collective responsibility? That is also from the mob. It's any impossible objective to fulfill in an individual way. It maybe took a long last, right? But a collective responsibility may arise in a fraction of a second. That's why the pressure group are exist. You know, such a democratic freedom, the pressure group also the pillars of the nation. Because you have been witnessed the any pressure group in terms of NGO, SSG, and also charitable group, the trustee, that is a positive concern. But here, this topic is a security manner. It may be a preposition for a negative standard. A mob can change the world, even a positive way, even a negative way also. So mob violence, what is the violence? There is an opposite twin coin of faces. One is the violence, second is the silence. Right? What do you mean by violence? Anything which propagation to hatredly nature or feel upon the shady nature or for a particular vulnerability or the sexual immigration. This is the definition of the vulnerable or the velocity to gain the things in a segmentorial way. Right? This is the violence topic. But what do you mean by opposite? The silence. Which is the best mechanized weapon in the world, according to Buddha, is the silence. The great, even the great doctrine of the state policy, Honorable Mahatma Gandhi emphasized the silence is the best policy. His proposition to the modernist level. We have a colonial era, right? We have a British era, isn't it? We have a British mode. What kind of activity you have been observed there? Extremist, modernist, and Indian National Army. The propagation of the fighters of India. One decade happened, approximately 90 years we fought for the freedom, not in one only concept of, not in hands of only an individual, right? It is a collective responsibility, right? Isn't it or not? And you know, the preposition happens for the violence in a segmentorial behavior. The replica of the group of people are combination to deal the things in a several distinguished objective may not be matched upon for the scenario. Then the violence will be created for the particular situation. You know, mob violence is based on the anger and fear, hatredness, or the misinformation. When there is anger, there is no love. When there is no love, there is no responsibility. When there is no responsibility, there is no freedom. And when there is no freedom, there is a violence. So this is the chapter of we have to know, become an aspirant for the administrators and also in individual monarchy, and also for the societal well-being. We have to understand the pre and post operations, what exactly the mob violence will be communicated. You know, this is the word of lynching. The mob violence is also called as a mob lynching. The lynching is coming from the American Revolution, the principle of revolution, the mob lynching. And lynching is a mobocracy. See the word of how the beauty it will be. We have a democracy. What do you mean by mobocracy? Mobocracy means the pressure group. The group of people having single agenda to manifesto for their consecutive objective, but it not be fulfilled by the particular actions. Then the propagation of the replica of opposite reaction will come across. That is called as a mobocracy. Mobocracy means mob and democracy. Mob plus democracy is a mobocracy. Right? So you can address this chapter in three consecutive behavior. One is mob violence, another one is mob lynching, another one is mobocracy. So one of the finest topics here. What do you mean by right and vigilantism and hate-driven attacks? This is also one book of several pages, right? Any distinguished objective you cannot fulfill in a several way which you want to be. That is a dedication aspect. What is collective responsibility is mismatching. It may be in a field upon the misinformation or the anger or the non-interpretation of the collective sense or the collective sense, right? Yeah. Here I have given the judgment copy of Supreme Court 2018. Lynching is a horrendous act of mobocracy. You know, horrendous means hatred. Hate. You hate me, I will hate you. You do this, if you are not, I am going to do this. I have given you an example in earlier class also, but I will definitely now. With respect to Bangladesh, what is the concern today? Bangladesh, the Jnani people are attacking the democratic sense of administration protocol, mismatching, and information is leaking. The social mob is propagate themselves to deal the things. So this is one concept of example there. See, if any vulnerable situation for the religious aspect or the social concern or the particular diaspora, you cannot even the match of the directed to state to prevent the measure. Agreed upon it. You are not going to satisfy the measure of interpretation there. Any measure has its own objective, but that particular objective should fulfill the subjective in nature. That subjective should be meaningful, then there is no arising of the pressure group or the any external figures which hamper the administrators. This is one concept of the introduction for this concept. You know, I have statistically emphasized any mob violence occur throughout the state or the United Territory or the Andaman Nicobar in India. Approximately 6 to 7% of the GDP will loss because it is a threat to human and also the people who offered the mob violence, also the administrators who suffered in a policing. Right? If you see the statistic, the mob violence from 2015 to 2021, it is recorded through media concern. That means, see, the willingness is not matchable for anybody. It may be different ideology, it may be a decent ideology or the decorum ideology. But the media propagation seems to be vulnerable. See, if I quote now today, I will make a YouTube short. Okay? I will make a YouTube short today. I will convey something. That convey subject is not okay with somebody. He may be replicated. He will do the mediocre level in a negative standard. What ultimately needing? The mob violence. Any of the opposition stream. If the cause is positive action, it is called as a pressure group. If the cause is negative standard, it is called as a mob violence, right? But the positive occurrence of the sense is also facing the mob violence. Example, 2021, agriculture farmer law happened, commodity responsibility law and so on. What in a Delhi Chalo Chanuvani, there is a great concept of the farmer strike. The Punjab, Haryana, including Karnataka went and mob violence occurred, huge capacity way. So it is not the only case of negative standard because the objective is clear fit there, but the way of proposition is not matching there. This is the objective. And see, I will emphasize one of the great loss of one personality with respect to Indian mindset. It was the 5th March of 2025. Assistant Sub-Inspector Mr. Ramachandra Gautam, the Special Armed Force of Madhya Pradesh, killed by the mob violence. It's a great loss, one person. The policing versus people, how many? How many policing versus people are there? There is a nominal. For every 1,000, it may be a 4 police person. If it is killed by a person, unnecessarily with his duty, unnecessarily. The police are there to protect us, but we are not bothering them with respect to ideological difference in opposition way. The person of Ramachandra Gautam is expired there, killed by the mob, very critical in nature. Right? This is the main example you can give it with respect to this topic. This is the first topic of 5th March of 2025. Most sad incident happening in Madhya Pradesh. And state of highest reported mob violence is Maharashtra, and also you consider the Uttar Pradesh is more. There is a lot of difference there. Very, very, very tiny difference. That is, Uttar Pradesh is a criminalization state. Criminalization activity is more. That's why Uttar Pradesh is named after the CM. His encounter specialists are more, and he emphasized the criminal justice system in a sophisticated way. Even the Human Rights Commission are subjective interpretation towards Honorable CM of Yogi Adityanath. So, if you concentrate the Maharashtra, it is a religious, not a religious, it's a linguistic. Marathi mob violence more. If you concentrate the South Peninsula, the Karnataka, the Maharashtra, and you concentrate Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Kerala, where there is a linguistic minorities are there, all the linguistic people are there, mob violence is occurred from the linguistic way only. Or if you concentrate the religious aspect, whether it is a Hindu, whether it is a Muslim, whether it is a Sikh, any of the community hamper the situation for their own ethos, then the mob violence will be occurred. And the state with the lowest reported mob violence is Sikkim, Mizoram and Lakshadweep. You know why? The population is very less there and the area of the network is very less, but the local self-governance is stubborn enough. The less corruption, more the happiness, right? And Bhutan is one of the best examples. They measure the GDP in terms of happiness, not in terms of gross domestic product of the nations. So when there is a happiness, there is nothing called a role played in violence level. Silence is the best policy, otherwise I will keep quiet in a signal to warriors way, like that. Honorable doctrine of the state policy, Mahatma Gandhi emphasized the eye to eye of people when collapsing each other. When there is a more violence, after the violence, dialogue is not in a sophisticated manner. There is no role for the dialogue, What is the dialogue? The one-to-one communication. If the one-to-one communication lacks each other, what happening? The quarrel happening, the fed-up happening. Someone are okay, someone are not okay, depending on the experience, depending on the mind, depending on the societal interpretation. Right? This is the obligation there. That's why I will go, you have a mob violence structure there. One is a hate crime, that is a barking system of crime, giving a hatred mode of casteism, religious aspect, linguistic aspect, or the some agenda which is a pressure group which is witnessing for particular objective like that. And if you see the communal rights, communal means a religion rights, common are religious and political tensions. Especially you can witness there in the Maharashtra there, and also including Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu also. And political mob violence. Of course, when there is an election, there is a mob. The election will be spoken away in a democratic principle, that is okay. Otherwise, it may be a vulnerable situation for the Indian concern. The situation may be a great role played how the election will be commencing, how the people mindset for the elections, like that. Even for the polling activity, there is a fight happen, no? Even in a booth to booth level, right? And rumors-driven mob attack, that is the social media. We believe the practice is the fourth pillar of the democracy, but it is also a valuable information to accept for us, also for the negative instigation to behavior and culture to us. However, how we apply, that is an important task, rather than how we comment the situation. This is the structural hate crime in India. A consecutive year is happening, and if you concentrate the 2018, there is a spike rate of 92 deaths happening in the mob violence. It may be a religion, it may be a linguistic, it may be a political engagement, it may be an election mode, it may be a positive pressure group, it may be a negative pressure group. The vulnerability is in the hands of the violence of the group. Agreed? So you can write it exemplary action towards this in a graphical representation. People mindset you cannot judge, You can even not possible to judge anybody instigating level, because each and everybody has its own temper. The temper will lose upon the conscious level having no value. When the violence happens, when there is no silence. When a silence happens, there is a dialogue. When there is a dialogue, there is a mutual harmony. When there is no mutual harmony, there is a hatred mood. So this is the Q-symmetric overlap, circular emotional intelligence. It is also called as, in a psychological term, the circular emotional intelligence. You all are good ethical concerned fellows, and you know the emotional intelligence in briefly. What do you mean by emotional intelligence? The way you prepare for the objective to subjective is the emotional intelligence. How it will be applied here to mob. Any injustice happen, the justice system, justice denied is a justice denied, right? Right? Justice denied is a justice denied. What justice they are preferring? The essence of the objective of particular group. If the particular group are not mentioning upon the subjective interpretation in a rightly manner, they are not receiving it for the information in a correctly manner, then there is a violence happen. That was the case of 2018. That was the case. And number of communal rights in a state wide in India. If you concentrate the Maharashtra is more, after that Bihar is highest, and consecutive in a northeast it will be very less. You tell me why? Northeast, the 8 sisters of the northeast are very less communal rights. Why? The brotherhood nation. India is named for brotherhood activity, or the brotherlyhood nation. We have a sustainable development goal number 17, the partnership goal. It emphasized that community rights and collective responsibility, mutual harmony. We the people, for the people, by the people, the great democratic sense of statement. But you tell me how the rights or the violence, how the insurgency group are cultivating this. You are a democratic man, you are the democratic woman, how to pursue your nation, that is the fundamental directive principle of state policy towards an Indian context. Right? but it is not going to happen right now. The 2018 is the spike away. The 12 that thing happened, the 12 cases also, and concentrate on Rajasthan, even though Rajasthani is a high area network comparatively any state, Uttar Pradesh afterwards Rajasthan, but there is no rivalry. You know what? I will tell you, rivalry having its own meaning. If the rivalry towards the positive things, then the changes will be happening in a positive way. If the rivalry or make sense of scarcity, it is not matching, then violence itself is the only phenomena. Bangladesh now currently, the ex-prime minister, she came to Delhi now to rescue herself because of the mob violence. It was the case right now. She is in Delhi. And death sentence happening from the Supreme Court of Bangladesh. This is the fake allegation. The vigilantation is not there when there is no constitutional action to replicate themselves. How you treat you treat me. Honorable President of India, Draupadi Murmu, emphasized not for me, but for me. What do you mean by that? Not for me, ಇದು ನನಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಲ್ಲ, but for me, it's for everybody, ನನಗೂ. So, it has a two balance theory, right? So, in the violence people, when the violence is happen, you have to think twice, not for me, but for me, in what objective they are responding. See, any action comes for a picture, right? Any action comes for a picture, but the repercussion of the opposite in nature is not be emphasized, not in a critical sense. How you treat the vulnerability, or what you want there, that is the meaning. What definition you want to do that. After that incident, what is your takeaway? What stand you are doing? If you think twice, then there is no violence. So you can write it. An international best practice, I will appreciate the United Kingdom. The real-time crowd control and community policing. The police is the state list, according to our India, concurrent state list, and the protocol is more. And if the one communal activity or the violence happen or the mob violence happening, even though the death rate is more, approximately 300 cases from the social media, and also 474 cases are deployed after 2015 to 2021, and 1,328 deaths, the fatal, non-fatal injuries happen, and 545 deaths are happening. This is the scenario of India. If you concentrate that in a 2009 to 2024, but if you concentrate only 5 years, the most of the vulnerable situation faced by India towards the mob violence is only in case of social media concern. So social media is a great role played, because what you saw, that is a replica, what you are not saw, that is not a replica, it is an ideology. And best practice, how he adopted the gold, silver and bronze, the command. That is a three picture here. If the mob is so high, it may be a gold. The silver, bronze, is category wise they adopt it, and they are involved in the policing activity towards in a high security manner. So this is the best case study, adopted the command and control system, each and every booth, not in a one command system for every single objective, not like that. Each and every segment to this booth it is commencing. And you can write this India map, It consists of many things. Mapping the death Romans, trial Maharashtra, Jharkhand on top. Why? Number one, Jharkhand is a top-notch forest area and high mineral concern area, and geographically it is a feature of God grace. But the commonality is more trench over there. The communal welfareism in the means of the opposite in nature, then the violence will be coming across. You concentrate the map, how many number of he killed, and what is the date, and if you concentrate what happened there, exactly the village name. So any of the one scenario, Jharkhand, Assam, Tripura, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Maharashtra, you can write any of one example in this chart. That's why I emphasize beautifully to make you easy towards the India map there. You can write it. You know, democracy cannot become the new modern. What is that? New normal. What do you mean by normal? The situation what you put, what is an abnormal, the situation will be opposite in nature whether you are normal or not. Right? So democracy means when democracy is high, the bureaucracy will be less. When the bureaucracy is high, the democracy will be less. Right? Why? There is a vicious cycle there, democracy, bureaucracy, democracy. You can write in a vicious cycle there. And you can write a channel, democracy is high. The bureaucracy, what happened? You cannot control the crowd, right? You cannot control the crowd. There is a less. And when the bureaucracy is less, what is the case of democracy? And what is the democracy? The same democracy. Right? We the people of India, right? We the people of India, by the law, for the law, for the democracy, for the people, by the people, right? So it is a vicious cycle. Concentrate on that. It was a beautiful statement. When I will repeat twice, when democracy is high, the bureaucracy will less. When bureaucracy will less, democracy is not stagnated. It's not in the race of food. And concentrate the articles. You have a great article 14, 15, the religious way, and article 21 is the right to equality and livelihood. And if you concentrate the section of IPC, now is Bharatiya Niti Samhita, Nyaya Samhita is coming, 302 section and 307 section to murder and stamp food. And also Unlawful Activity Prevention Act. You know, this is the act, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. This is the new law from 2021. It's a new law. And it is amended 3 times in a parliament. You can write a link with the estimate group. Any of the violence in a non-negative factor, in a very negative factor, that is a balance between the interaction between the particular extremist group. Whether it is a nationalism group, whether it is a unbiased culture, or any stagnated behavior. So you concentrate on that. This may be question from the mob violence may be occur in unlawful activity prevention also. It is also. And concentrate the linkages between the SDG. First of all, according to me, what is the best SDG for mob violence or the mob lynching or the mobocracy is the partnership. What is your partnership? What kind of partner you are having? I also emphasize in education chapter how you educate yourself. What is the environmental you are facing? That is an education. What is the application you are doing? That is an education. Education plays vital role to play in a mob violence. If you are not aware about what concern you are fighting enough, it may not be. So that's why people are willing to aware. Yes, I want to awareness, I want to know something better than this, what obligation necessary, I have to fight this, and what is the process after the future, if not necessarily is happening in particular situation. That is what the awareness is the key pillar. That is why the partnership goal is arises. And quality. Usually, according to me, the youth life is much role to play here, because you concentrate the mob violence almost. I am not saying in a disguised manner. I am saying in a decent statistically way. The student rolling and who is not uneducated, and also the youth who is in a normal phenomena, they are coming for the mob violence. That is the vulnerability faces. Not the one who pursued the 5 degree, one who are having a corporate company or a administrative government agencies are coming up. That's the vulnerability, right? They lost their life, The 545 death case is not an ordinary task. Each and every individual is a great contribution for India. It's a great asset. Human development is what? Life expectancy, education, plus income. You concentrate the both things is lacked here, mob violence, right? What do you expect there? You cannot expect anything. And sustainable 16, peace and justice and strong institution. Any institution are making their own law, wage the will of the nation. That is the good governance. This is also one kind of statement. The government is the best that governs the least is the one kind of statement to democracy. And it is not the obligation to necessarily to deal the things in a common sphere. It is also for the international sphere and public sphere and the private companies also. That is also called as corporate social responsibility. Right? And consider the inequality. What do you mean by inequality? Not the way you cannot have any sophisticated things. It is the way to justify yourself to deal the things in a preposition way. You have a capacity, you proven it. You are not having capacity, you think twice. What aware should I take? That's the basic agenda. Okay, I will give you an example. You all fellows should go to mob. Are you willing to go? Are you? For any cause, any objective, you are not thinking, yes, for what reason I have to go? What is the beneficiary activity I am going to get in it? What is my future after that? How long time I should be in that collective responsibility of the mob? Are you not thinking? This is called as awareness and intelligence. And most of the cases there is a clear distinguish between two things. One is emotion, another one is intelligence. When emotion comes, there is several opposite and even equilibrium also condition. Love will come, hate will come, fear will come, happy will come. But when the system is in opposite nature, only the anger will come. Only when the anger will come. Because you are not aware for what reason you are going to make a sense of it. The violence is not a network. Yeah, it is a great quote, Violence is not a net worth. It is a network. NETWORTH. Violence is not a net work, but it is a network. NETWORK. A great statement, So you can write it that also in the future, what you know. And consider the landmark judiciary. If the landmark of Tehsil Yash Poonawala versus Union of India 2018 case, you are not raised in GS3 of mob violence case, it won't be completed because it is a flagship judgment, a landmark judgment. Why it is 2018 only? The number of stampede, number of violent activity, number of mobocracy is more there. It is happening in a regional bias, language bias, and linguistic bias, and for the cause of objective interpretation level. What adaptation Supreme Court have been done? Appointment of the nodal officer, fast track mechanism, victim compensation, action against the delegacy, right? So this is the chapter of landmark judgment which is beautifully emphasized. You have to write. Without this, you are not going to have a score. It is not only for the case of understanding the GS3 in terms of mob violence, it is also a responsible citizen to deal the things in a society well-being. So you have to make sure what is the landmark judgment with respect to Tehsil Yash Poonawala. You can search it in Google also afterward. Landmark, supreme level. Still it is a landmark. And challenges, there is a why the mob occur. One is the ethics. If every individual are having self-respect, right? Every individual are having dignity. Every individual are in ethos, but Your ethos may not be matched for you. Your dignity may not be matched for your moral. Then the violence will be occur. And misinformation from the social media, the network bias, and also the political stagnation, because you are very good after with one political party, your life is with that, and you are not okay with somebody, even though you are not in a part and parcel of there, but you have to quarrel each other in a violent mode because of the party attention. That is the case. And if a linguistic concern, you may be feel upon one language is very supreme and others are not. That is the vulnerability. Even though the democratic nation, such a wonderful cultural soft power of India, making a vulnerability immensely throughout the distinguished activity is the challenging. And lack of accountability. You show me one evidence in a mob violence. This many activity occur from this person, that person itself. You cannot, because in a mob staff food, you are not addressing your own mindset. Even you don't know who you are, because you are curbing each other with a particular objective. You don't know what is your family. You know what? One statement is there. His name is Bhagat Saxena. His name is Bhagat Saxena. He is an activist. He proposes one word. If any violence happens, you forget your family, you forget your individual culture, your dignity and decorum. The mutual interest is collapsed. The individual righthood, livelihood is collapsed. And if anything happens in a mob violence to you, it is a great loss for the family. Your family is not willing to go with the violence. Your family propagates you, be silent. It may be recovery in a cool way, right? It is not only the great loss of the family, it is a national capacity problem. So, if you are quarreling each other, if you are maintaining the disobedience for the nation, are there any collective sense? You have to deal in sophisticated way. First thing twice, why should I have to go to mob? Okay, whether it is a clear cut a protection or a clear cut mob violence, you have to understand, especially youth should understand. And there is a case study, one is the WhatsApp rumor from 2017 to 2019, the child threatening, the child lifting mob. It's a case happened even across the India, even Karnataka also, it was a peak at that time. It is a fake social media interpretation. So, if you saw any reels in mobile, you may be feel upon, oh, it is good. If someone else something is said, it may be correct, it may not be correct in a factual content. How you treat that, that is the word. How you treat the verdict, that is the segment, right? So, in the same case, 2017-19 will be happening. The best practice, one is the flagship judgment of 2018, another one is the CC camera, the usage of the technology, the usage of individual. See, when technology is clear, the administration will be helping. When administration will be clear, the management will be come across. If the management are sophisticated in a beautiful way, the mutual understanding will be high. I will tell you what is protection. The protection is not an individual protection. It is an objective protection. According to me, protection is objective protection. And if you protect your protection to Article 21, you have to be collective responsible in a mutual harmony way, not in a mobocracy way. Mobocracy will change the world in 1 second. Example, the Bangladesh case. Her ex-Prime Minister herself came to India right now. So you can see that. You can see in the news channels. And Hasina, her name is Hasina. Prime Minister name, ex-Prime Minister name, Hasina. And mob justice is injustice. A nation built on law cannot allow the law of the mob. What do you mean by that? We have a democratic country and we know the responsibility of us with a fundamental right. And we also believing what responsibility to deal the things in a directive principle of state policy with respect to socialistic, liberal and Gandhian philosophy. And we have a ethos and dignity culture in terms of fundamental duties. The Article 51A to 51K emphasize. So, if you concentrate our Indian monarchy principle or the great doctrine, the great written constitution, the longest constitution, what it will be take away? It will balance the nation's capacity. I always emphasize 90 years we fought for independence. After that we are bound to be a national capacity building. Nearly 20 years, 58 years. 58 years. Now we are the fourth largest economic country, 4.19. But what is the sophisticated nature? We are in a great technology driven policy. How to apply it in our hand. Still, after 2000 to 2020-25, we have a technology driven policy. But 2018, the stamp food, the mob violence is more. What is the agenda? Then, earlier it was not the case. Earlier, after 2000, before 2000, it was not the case, even though the technology is not there in adequate manner. But still, because the social media influence in a negative standard, the mob violence is more there. And if you consider the Bangladesh incident, the Hasina, the Prime Minister is away and he came rescued to India right now. This is the insurgent of Gen Z towards the social media incident. Right? This is the great statement, you know. You have a solution there. One is from ideologically. What is ideologically? Any emotional intelligence should be balanced each other. Emotion plus intelligence should balance each other. First, your emotions to be in a fulfilled, vegetarian way, in a livelihood and livelihood way. After that, the intelligence will play a game role to play. How to apply the intelligence in a particular action, in a particular objective, in a particular scenario, the situation will match, then your agenda is fulfilling. That is one. Second one, usage of the technology in the administration. If any mob violence is occur, the UK model, the gold, silver and bronze model, the community welfareism, the collective social responsibility. It is not the chance of the chancellor for the police in itself, you know. Your mob is the wife of the voicelessness, but your administration is the chance of the chancelessness. If you are prepared enough to give a mob violence in a violent way, the chance is very less to rescue them, because our policing power is very less. If you concentrate the 4 police for 1,000 people, right? This, how, you know, if any mob violence occurs, the police are also a human, right? They are not the gods. They are also a human. Their profession may be a protector of nation. People are thinking they are the police itself, but they are also having health crisis. They are also having a family. They are also having individual responsibility to their children. Any police is not a backyard. You consider that Assistant Sub-Inspector Ramacharan, Madhya Pradesh, that killed happened, no? Don't you feel so sad? Someone are rights, someone are community welfare, someone are voicelessness, someone are violence. The killing aspect is great not for his family. So, be a mature individual in terms of ethical and intellectual is the key pillar here. And concentrate the democratic strength, the will of the nation. You know, great law mentioning upon the will of the nation. Will means, yes, I am. It is my nation, my world, my people. And great nation is emphasized the well of the nation. Well means, yes, it is for the future well-being, future wellness. What adaptation I have to take? Right now I should take the mitigation for that respective concern negative standard. If you are low enough the mitigation standard, you are not adapting anything. The great futuristic things will be collapsed. This is the chance. So, society is the one major reason. You may be poor upon any distinguished activity. Someone are vulnerable to, someone are instigated, someone are angered, someone are livelihood, someone are mutually harmony, someone are non-trusteeship. That's why Gandhian principle of social democracy emphasized decentralization government, individual participation, trusteeship, social economic standards, individual welfareism, and collective responsibility is the mindset of them. So concentrate on that. You may be administrative protocol, strict action should be taken, and you have to convey, when there is a violence, dialogue will end. If violence happens, dialogue will end. But when dialogue will start, the violence is less. After the dialogue, silence should come. The silence is the peaceful justice livelihood. That is the trench over the United Nations Charter. It is emphasized. So you can write this also in the future of your GS3 paper. And you have to understand this as an individual also. Because we live in a country of democracy, such a soft power, such a cultural livelihood. I will tell you one briefly, I also emphasized in earlier class this, the Japan model. They strike, they do work more. They won't sit in a way, but they do work more in a half proportionality. They have to stitch a dress, they will stitch halfly. Economic growth is not happening, but work is happening. That is the dignity of that. What kind of linguistic concentration we are having? Japan is Japani, China is China, and several distinguished languages are there. Their proportionality is more. Of course, India is a very respected country. We are receiving the language in a moral spirit, but we are not engaging ourselves in the right manner. Every individual is a livelihood. It's not the area-based network. Some area is bad, some area is good, some linguistic is bad, some linguistic is bad, some women is bad, some men is good, some men is good, some women is bad. Not like that. What is your collective objectivity? Whether you making upon, you will be in a hike mode. And conclusion I can say, as Supreme Court observed, the state has duty to protect the citizen. Whether only the way of state? Yes, of course, I will tell you, state has its own power to protect the citizen. We have a fundamental duty, being a citizen of India, to protect our state. So, Parivartana Niyama comes here. A is equal to B, B is equal to A. State will protect the citizen. The citizen should protect the state from fundamental duty. The state will protect us from union list, or the state list, or the concurrent list. So, it is not the one cup of tea to somebody. It's not the way of state only. It is the way of proportionality in a mutual way. Whether you respect me, I will respect you. Whether you give the respect, I will take you the respect, like that. The mutual harmony contest in a play to role way. So democracy is a losing of the democracy if the democracy is in a negative standard. The democracy will be in a positive way. The trend of the velocity may be high. When the velocity or the democracy are in a positive way, the democratic ethos will be vital role to play. Thank you.